Hello and welcome to Read This Next with Nicole and Laura. Today we are talking about clones and androids. We had a much larger topic that we wanted to discuss, which was also robots, and then we said, ooh, that's too much. We got to narrow it down a little bit.
We did. Yes, the list was getting far too long. So we dialed it back and we narrowed it down. So we are just going to look at artificial intelligence, and then also, and then clones, those two like just little ideas that come up in science fiction. Science fiction.
And there's like so many in each that we could talk about, but we wanted to do both because I don't know. Did you find it harder to find books about clones?
A little bit.
I found like it was harder to like, I don't think we could have a full standalone episode about clones, but we could about AI.
Yeah. I think there used to be, I think clones were really trendy in YA, but like 5-6 years ago. Yeah. So they're a little less trendy now. It comes and goes. Yes, this is true.
Yeah. And on that note of YA trends, we do have a YA reading list of, I think it's called Cyborgs and Androids and Robots, Oh My, or something, which I thought was pretty cute.
That sounds like the kind of nerdiness that I probably did at some point.
No, that was me.
That was you?
Huge
was your nerdiness?
You've also made really dorky ones, but that one was all mine. But that one's on the teen page, so if you're looking for some teen reads, you can always go to www.tbpl.ca/teensread and get all that stuff there. So, yeah. Do you want to dive in?
Sure. I think you are doing our very first one, and we're starting with the artificial intelligence.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So the first one is called Prey of Gods by Nikki Drayden. Wait, did I say it wrong?
No, you said it right. I wrote in our notes, I put Prey of the Gods.
Oh, good thing I read it from the cover.
Yes.
He looks, just the image alone really looks like the Iron Giant. But he's like way shorter.
I see it for sure.
Okay, so I haven't read this one. So, in South Africa, the future looks promising. Personal robots are making life easier for the working class. The government is harnessing renewable energy to provide infrastructure for the poor. And in the bustling coastal town of Port Elizabeth, the economy is booming thanks to the genetic engineering industry, which has found a welcome home there. Yes, the days to come are looking very good for South Africans. That is, if they can survive the present challenges. A new hallucinogenic drug sweeping the country, an emerging AI uprising, and an ancient demigoddess hell-bent on regaining her former status by preying on the blood and sweat, but mostly blood, of every human she encounters. That sounds way better than the novelist one. And there's still more. It's up to a young Zulu girl powerful enough to destroy her entire township, a queer queer teen.
Much better.
Right? Queer 10. Plagued with the ability to control minds, a pop diva with serious daddy issues, and a politician with even more serious mommy issues to band together to ensure there's a future left to worry about. That's way better.
Does not sounds great. I always like it when there's a mixture of like the sci-fi, but then also magic, right? So I like the ancient demigoddess, and then there's also an AI uprising.
Why not both?
Why not both?
We can have both.
Yeah. Yes.
It's a treat.
So that's The Prey of Gods, and I believe that is book 1 in a series.
Okay, that makes sense with that many characters.
No, you know what? I'm lying. It is not book 1 in the series. It's a single, but no, isn't that better? Because then you get everything done.
Don't get your hopes up.
There's no cliffhanger. It's just gonna bring it all together.
Yeah, pros and cons. Yeah. I'm a serious gal.
Wow. Sometimes I like to just get in and get it done,
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yes, I can appreciate that.
Okay, our next AI pick. This one, it is a series. I'm not lying this time. And this book is by Chuck Wendig, and he is very prolific. He writes lots of stuff. lots of books, comic books. He writes a lot on his website, well-known like Twitter conversationalist.
He's everywhere.
He's everywhere. So you might have come across his name before. And so this book, it's not even The Wanderers, it's just Wanderers. So
we're adding a lot of those in today.
We are. Here's the description. A decadent rock star, a deeply religious radio host, a disgraced scientist, and a teenage girl who may be the world's last hope. Yeah!
Yeah! Teenage girls. Yeah! Killing it.
Shanna wakes up one morning to discover that her little sister is in the grip of a strange malady. She appears to be sleepwalking, but she cannot talk and cannot be woken up. And she is heading with inexorable determination, I think I said that wrong again, that's all right, to a destination that only she knows of. But Shanna and her sister are not alone. Soon they are joined by a flock of sleepwalkers from across America, all on the same mysterious journey. And like Shanna, there are other shepherds who follow the flock to protect their friends and family on the long, dark road ahead. So basically, like, her sister is in this trance, sort of, and she decides that she's going to go with her. And of course, like, you kind of have the obvious questions like, I don't know, lock them in a room, hold them down, and then you discover that something, it is dangerous to the wanderers if they are restrained like that, I'll just say. So you kind of have to let it play out.
That's interesting. Do they have to eat?
Yeah, they do not.
Oh, okay.
They do not. Yeah. So then so now that's the journey. And on their journey, they will discover an America convulsed with terror and violence, where this apocalyptic epidemic proves less dangerous than the fear of it. As the rest of society collapses all around them and an ultra-violent militia threatens to exterminate them, the fate of the sleepwalkers depends on unraveling the mystery behind the epidemic. The terrifying secret will either tear the nation apart or bring the survivors together to remake a shattered world.
Wow. That sounds like a more hopeful zombie book.
Yeah, they're not dangerous though, right? So there's that, but it is like a really big book. I did read this one.
Nice. How big is it?
400 pages.
Okay, that's a chunk.
It's a door stopper. But it does move quite fast, and it jumps around through like different characters, so you get different perspectives, right? Like this main girl who is part of the flock, and then she meets other people who are traveling. It's just I wouldn't say a thriller. It is suspenseful because you don't know how things are going to play out, and kind of a little bit of that dread, right? Like what is happening? Why is it happening? Can it be stopped? Yeah.
You don't know for a long time?
Not really. And you may have noticed in that entire description, there is no mention of an AI.
There you go. Something to unravel.
Something to unravel, certainly.
Love it.
Yes.
Okay. What was my next one? The next one is Ancillary Justice by Anne Leckie. Yes. It's a series. This one is a series as well. Okay, and here is the description. On a remote, icy planet, the soldier known as Breck is drawing closer to completing her quest. A lot of ladies we're reading about today in these sci-fi ones. I'm loving it. Once she was a Justice of Torn, a colossal starship with an artificial intelligence linking thousands of soldiers in the service of the Radch. Radch. The empire that conquered the galaxy. Now, an act of treachery has ripped it all away, leaving her with one fragile human body, unanswered questions, and a burning desire for vengeance. So she's the AI.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds really cool. And then she's human.
Well, she was the AI that ran the ship, and now she's in a human body.
I love that. That sounds so cool. I like the idea of that because, like, that also... My immediate question is, where they get the human body?
Sure, that's a great question. Is it a clone? It's a great question. Yeah.
Yeah, who knows? It could be a clone. Who knows?
It could be a clone. Could be a crossover between our here. Okay, next pick is the other books we've listed have all been fairly recent. This one is definitely older, quite a bit older. And the book is called Midnight Robber. It's by Nalo Hopkinson, inspired by Hopkinson's Caribbean roots. She's also a Canadian author.
Cool.
Yeah. And this is another one that's sort of similar to that thing I liked before with the magic and the sci-fi, where this one is like a lot of folklore and tropes of science fiction. Yeah. Alternate planet setting. Okay. So it's Carnival time. They're celebrating on this colonized planet with music, dance, and pageantry. Masked midnight robbers waylay revelers. I kind of just want to
I think it's revelers. It's like revelry.
Right. Yeah. Revelers. I just wanted to say like Revelo and call it a day, but that's definitely not right.
Rolo, Oreo. Yep.
Yes.
Just move farther from it.
All right. So the midnight robber guys waylay other people with brandished weapons and spellbinding words. But to young Tantan, the robber queen is simply a favorite costume to wear at the festival until her power-corrupted father commits an unforgivable crime. Suddenly, both father and daughter are thrust into the brutal world of New Halfway Tree. Here, monstrous creatures from folklore are real, and the humans are violent outcasts in the wilds. Here, Tantan must reach into the heart of myth and become the robber queen herself, if for only the robber queen's legendary powers can save her life and set her free.
Ooh, again, sounds really good.
It's really very good. I am going to give a trigger warning for some of the content. Mm-hmm. There is some sexual abuse situations that are very upsetting and that are included in that story. So if that's something that you prefer to avoid, then don't pick that one up. Yeah,
there you go.
Just letting you know.
That sounds very good. Other than that, which it's interesting that her dad does something bad and then she ends up in the bad as well. Oh, okay. Our next one, we are moving on to clones, and the first one is The Echo Wife by Sarah Gailey. And Laura told me before we started, this is once again the Hippo Lady and the No Woman Country.
Upright Women Wanted.
Yeah, wow, I was way
that's the one with the spunky librarians getting stuff done.
Yeah.
And then the Hippo Cowboys. This author is on a roll.
She's doing it all. Wow. Okay. Here's the description because we're all waiting with bated breath to hear more about Sarah Gailey's books. Okay. Quote, when they said all happy families are alike, I don't think this is what they meant. End quote. Evelyn Cadwell's husband, Nathan, has been having an affair with Evelyn Cadwell, or to be exact, with a genetically cloned replica.
Hard.
I know. After a morning that begins with a confrontation that ends with Nathan's body bleeding out on the kitchen floor, the two Cadwell wives... yeah, oops. My bad. The two Cadwell wives have to think fast before sharing everything, including a share... Before sharing everything includes sharing a jail cell. The Echo Wife is a non-stop thrill ride of lies, betrayal, and identity, perfect for fans of Big Little Lies and Killing Eve. That sounds really, really cool again.
Doesn't it? And I like that, like they're sort of, well, it's not read-alikes because those are both TV shows. Mm-hmm. Well, I guess they're books too, aren't they? Big Little Lives and Killing Eve as well as a book.
Yeah.
But those are, they're neither of them are science fiction at all, right? And this obviously has like the cloning aspect. But it seems like that's part of the story, but it's not going to be the focus. It's going to be on like, how do they get out of the situation, and how rude to be like, not only is my husband having an affair, he's having an affair with me, but not me.
I wonder what like the motivation for that would be. Like, I just don't know. And I want like, There's so many questions.
Does the clone have the same memories and experiences?
Yeah.
Up to the present day, right? Like maybe if it's the person was cloned from like earlier in their relationship, maybe the thrill and the mystery is still there.
That could be. Have you seen any episodes of Black Mirror?
Yes.
There's that one where like they can like remember memories and they keep remembering memories of like their partner from a previous time, and that's what this makes me think of.
That one where it's like a video camera in their brain and they can watch.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll
put the title of the episode, of the Black Mirror episode.
Yeah, I mean, just in general, if you're... I wish we could bring back the word squick from like Archive of Our Own, for those who don't know. Squick.
Yes, I was going to say, lots of people don't know that context anyway.
They don't know. Okay, so like it's like if something's in a book or a TV show or whatever that like it doesn't trigger you, it doesn't like, you're not like gonna avoid it at all costs, but you're like, that just kind of feels yucky. It feels yucky, that kind of thing.
Disgust a little bit.
Yeah, like I don't want. I will avoid that if I can. It makes me feel gross. I don't like it. It squicks you out.
Yes.
So a lot of Black Mirror squicks me out.
I can see that for you. Yes.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Fair enough.
That one sounds really good, and I trust Sarah Gailey to take it home with that one.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Next book. Oh my goodness. This description is a delight to me. So this is obviously another clone one. It is also a series. The author then actually died after the second one was published. So it's not going to be a trilogy, sadly. It's just a duology.
All right.
But boy, does this ever sound fun. Okay, so the book is called ABorrowed Man, and the author is Gene Wolfe. And okay, so in the 22nd century, our civilization has retained many familiar characteristics, but the population is smaller. Technology has made significant advances, and there are more robots and clones. One such is E.A. Smith, a borrowed person, a clone who lives on a third-tier shelf in a public library.
A library! Yeah.
His personality is an uploaded recording of a deceased mystery writer.
That's cool!
Smith is library property, not a legal human. Not as cool, but interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, yes. The father of Colette Coldbrook, a wealthy library patron, has disappeared and been proclaimed dead. She decides to check Smith out of the library because he is the surviving personality of the author of Murder on Mars. A physical copy of that book was the sole item in her father's safe, and it contains an important secret, the key to immense family wealth. Her brother, Conrad, turned up dead in the family home shortly after giving the book to her. Colette has reached the end of her options. She's afraid of the police, and there are others who might want the book secret. Smith is her last hope. Borrowing him might help her find a connection between the deaths and Murder on Mars. Together, they find something far beyond their expectations, something almost anyone would kill for.
Oh, of all of these, that one makes me want to read it the most. Like, what is happening?
Isn't that a delight?
Yeah, it's like 39 clues, but like AI, and I'm in.
Yes, robots, sort of. Like, it's so fun. Like, it's kind of I don't even want to call it a subgenre, but there's this whole thing where there's books that are about books, like you travel into the book, or, right, like it's the Thursday Next series by Jasper Ford is like that, right? Mm-hmm. Or what was that one that was really big in kids?
Inkheart.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, Inkheart. I love that.
Yeah. So this is a little bit like that, only instead of like traveling into the book, there's authors.
Person.
Yeah, the authors of the books are in the library, and you can go and ask them questions and check them out. It's just such a wild, interesting idea.
Yeah. We're both just sitting here with our hands on our hips like, yeah, that's a great book. Oh my goodness. I love that idea. I just wonder, like, is he physically there? Like, obviously he's something, but is it like he's Are
I
they
don't
checking
know.
out like a person? I gotta know.
I think so.
Yeah, I'll
'Cause
check back in like a few weeks on Reddit.
what are you saying? I'm going to read this right away?
Yeah. We'll check
Probably.
back. We'll both read it, and this is gonna turn into just a book club.
Kind
With
of
me
is.
and you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds really good.
Doesn't it? I was reading the description and I was like, what? Oh, I'm into that. Oh, I'm into that. Oh, it just keeps getting better.
Yeah.
It sounds delightful.
Oh, it really does.
Yes. Very lots of fun. Okay.
Okay, the next two are YA.
They are. Another one for you.
Okay, so this one is Falls of Shadow, which is a series by Stephanie Gaither.
Sure.
Love the cover. I don't
It
know.
is a great cover.
It's got two faces, but like one's shadow, obviously.
And
Okay.
one is yelling in anger, pain. Who knows?
The drama. Okay. So I have not read this one. I was planning on it for this one, but I didn't end up having time. So I'll read the description. When Kate Benson was a kid, her sister Violet died. 2 hours after the funeral, Kate's family picked up Violet's replacement, like nothing had happened. Because Kate's parents are among those who decided to give their children a sort of immortality by cloning them at birth, which means this new... Yeah, I know, that's a little... To each their own, which means this new Violet has the same smile, the same perfect face, all thanks to advancements in mind uploading technology. She even has all of the same memories as the girl she replaced. She also might have murdered the most popular girl in school. Well,
I mean, is it because she a clone, or would she have done that anyway? We don't really know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess it was when Kate... Violet. Okay, I was gonna say like, did she kill whoever killed her? But if she was a kid when she originally died, I guess. Anyways, at least that's what the paparazzi and the anti-cloning protesters want everyone to think. That clones are violent, unpredictable monsters. Kate is used to hearing all that. She's used to defending her sister too. But Violet has vanished, and when Kate sets out to find her, she ends up in the line of fire instead. Because Kate is getting dangerously close to secrets that will rock the foundation of everything she thought was true. In a thrilling debut, Stephanie Gaither takes readers on a nail-biting ride through a future that looks frighteningly similar to our own and asks, how far are you willing to go to keep your family together? That's a lot to ask a teenage girl. How far are you willing to go? Protect. Well, I guess the how far are you willing to go includes like, are you willing to clone your child?
Yes. And this is such a little thing, but I just have to say, I find it confusing in that description that they go ahead and have a funeral and then they go and pick up the next child like nothing ever happened. I feel like if you're going to pretend nothing ever happened, why are you having a funeral?
Yeah. That's a great, yeah. What's the point?
A tiny little aspect of the story, but I had to bring it up.
Yeah. Huh. Let's move on.
Also, that is a good book. I have read it.
Oh, there we go. Laura approved. Stamp.
Okay, and then our last highlight, and this is another YA one, and it's another series. It's the series, I think the series overall is called The Adoration of Jenna Fox.
I think so.
It's by Mary E. Pearson. And this is another book that is older. Like this series came out, I don't know, I feel like the first book maybe even came out like more than 10 years ago, probably. And then I think there's 3 or 4 books in the series total. But here's the description of just the first book. Who is Jenna Fox? 17-year-old Jenna has been told that is her name. She has just awoken from a coma, they tell her, and she is still recovering from a terrible accident in which she was involved a year ago. But what happened before that? Jenna doesn't remember her life, or does she? And are the memories really hers? This fascinating novel represents a stunning new direction for acclaimed author Mary Pearson. Set in a future America, it takes readers on an unforgettable journey through questions of biomedical ethics and the nature of humanity.
That sounds really good too. I like hearing it from the clone's perspective.
Right? It's sort of interesting. How do you take ownership of a life, right? If it doesn't really feel like it's yours.
Yeah, even though it kind of is. That's weird. I like that.
Yes. It's it's not a really heavy like sci-fi kind of story. It's much more focused on the people, the characters, and how they interact, and what kind of develops from like between her and her friends, and between her and her parents. And yeah, that's it's a recommended series as well.
There we go.
There we go.
There we go. Okay. Our Rex, what we've all been waiting for. All right. My rec is Scythe by Neil Schusterman. And it is a series. It's called Arc of the Scythe. Wait, I'm trying to pull up. I had this problem every time when I try and minimize Zoom. It goes, you can't do that. And then I have to figure out, okay, I made it. I found it. Okay, this one is the first one in the Arc of the Scythe series. The description's pretty good, so I'll read it. Thou shalt kill. A world with no hunger, no disease, no war, no misery. Humanity has conquered all of those things and has even conquered death. Now scythes are the only ones who can end a life, and they are commanded to do so in order to keep the size of the population under control. Citra and Rowan are chosen to apprentice to a scythe, a role that neither wants. These teens must master the art of taking life, knowing that the consequence of failure could mean losing their own. Now,
that
pretty good.
Sounds like a crummy thing to get on your like, what career should I go into?
Careercruising.com.
Yeah, end result. I think you would be best at
killing.
Taking people's lives.
Yeah. You know what, though? When I first read the description, I was kind of like, that doesn't sound too good. But then the first whole thing is like, neither of them wants the job. And that's the whole reason you become a scythe is like nobody who wants to kill people should become a scythe, because then you're not necessarily going to follow the rules of the code.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's
so
logical.
He finds two kids that they're like, I hate you, think you're gross, you shouldn't be killing people. And he's like, they're perfect. And he teaches them how to like kill compassionately and with like purpose. And it sounds very like pulled away from it, but it's really not. It's a very good way and interesting way to look at it. But the AI of it comes in with the Thunderhead, I think, which is the title of the third one in the series, which I haven't read yet, so I'm really excited about it. But the AI is called the Thunderhead, and they are the ones who mathematically have figured out how to send food everywhere, and they are the governing body. And in the first chapter or whatever, it's like everyone thought that we would all die when the robots took over. Instead, life got way better. So yeah. I was like, you know what?
I was so entertained by that, I pulled my earbud out of my ear. Sorry, carry on.
It was like, whoa!
Hit my cord.
Yeah, but it's really good, and the second book is just as good. I can't tell you about the third; haven't read it, but I really liked the series. And it's
really
YA.
Good. It's YA. Neil Schusterman does great stuff.
Yeah.
He did the Unwind series, which actually has some like cloning sort of elements years ago.
Was almost on the list. Oh, and we've recommended his we were doing spooky ones, ghost ones, and I recommended his Everlost
one.
Yeah. My non-spooky one.
Yeah. He's a good author. What can we say?
Oh yeah, he's great.
Okay, last personal rec. This is a delightful series called The Murderbot Diaries.
Great title.
The first one is called All Systems Red, and then there are a bunch. There's I think 4 novellas, and then there's a full-length novel. And I think she's still writing more, like the series isn't complete, by the author Martha Wells. And boy, just what a delight. Like just really engaging. And like I said, the novellas, so they're quick reads. You can find them all. We have them in print, but we also have them all on Cloud Library.
Yes.
So you can just pick it up and, what a great time. It has a little bit in common with Ancillary Justice in that it has some elements in common. I'm gonna read the description. Okay, so In a corporate-dominated spacefaring future, planetary missions must be approved and supplied by the company. Exploratory teams are accompanied by company-supplied security androids for their own safety. But in a society where contracts are awarded to the lowest bidder, safety isn't a primary concern. On a distant planet, a team of scientists are conducting service tests, shadowed by their company-supplied droid, a self-aware sec unit, that's security unit, that has hacked its own governing module and refers to itself, although never out loud, as Murderbot. Scornful of humans, all it really wants is to be left alone long enough for it to hang out, watch its stories. You know, it's really into like soap operas and human media. Yeah. And I'm just going to jump to, this isn't really a spoiler, but just to kind of give you a little bit of where the character ends up, because like as they're further out of their role as just like the sec unit, they're taken out like literally basically out of a box. They do their job and then they're put back in their box. Well, now, right, because of how things went on that first novella, now they're kind of out into the world. So this is like the first line of the description for the Murderbot Diaries #4. Murderbot wasn't programmed to care. So its decision to help the only human who ever showed it respect must be a system glitch, right? Right? Yes. Travel the galaxy to try to solve this conspiracy, unearth details. Now heading home to help their protector, friend, you know.
Aw, they made a friend.
Yes. But who's going to believe, you know, that what Murderbot has to say is accurate information when technically they're a sec unit gone rogue? Yes.
That's tricky.
Just a real good time.
Oh yeah, that sounds really cute. It sounds if anyone else is looking for, wait, that's that one's AI then.
Yes.
Okay. Is it a robot?
It's not super clear. They seem to have I kind of feel like it's an AI, but they have some human, I think cloned human parts of the body. So they're in a human looking body. They can pass for human if they keep control of their expressions and everything, because we're in their perspective. So the humans will be doing like goofy things, and in their mind, Murderbot will be like, this is like a terrible decision. Why would we ever do this?
That sounds really good though. I like again, another one that I would be interested in reading.
And really, it's a quick read. Just highly recommended. Murderbot Diaries.
Check it out.
Yeah. And that's our show.
That's the show. You've heard our highlights and our recs. Now it's time for me to plug everything. Watch us on YouTube. No, listen to us, our podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts. Tuesdays, whenever. We'll probably post it early in the morning. Yeah. Watch the same episode on YouTube the following Monday if you prefer that and you want to see all the fun titles that we post, like the covers.
And our smiling faces.
And our beautiful smiling faces. And follow us on social. We're at TBPL across the board. We have an email, read this next at tbpl.ca. And you can always find our show notes at www.tbplofftheshelf.com. I think I got it all.
I think you did.
I'm getting better at it. All right, then we will see you guys all next week. Bye.
Bye.